Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Choices Finding Your Joy. Paula Vail here. Oh, I'm just so happy to have with me today Lenna Sheppard. She is a certified thermography technician. Yes. And she's going to share so much, and especially for all you ladies out there, oh my gosh, what we can do for ourselves and our health. It's absolutely amazing. So, but first off, Lenna, I want to say welcome.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me. It's been an honor.
Oh, I am just so happy to have met Lenna, been introduced to her by a friend, and experienced the work she does. It's going to be great sharing that with everyone. But let's begin with a bit of first, what got you into this line of work? And then tell us about what this thermography is.
Yeah. I actually have been kind of a little bit of a rebel my entire life, my mom says. that I just could never wrap my head around why we're radiating a part of our body we didn't want cancer. Mm-hmm. So it never really did make sense, the whole mammogram thing. But it is what it is, you just think, well, you just get on that treadmill of doing what the doctors are telling you to do. I didn't follow those guidelines at first, but when an aunt got breast cancer, I thought it was silly not to do something. You shouldn't do nothing. And of course, that you get scared when you lose someone very close to you. And so I did start doing the mammos, but my gut kept telling me, there's got to be a better way. There's, than the radiation.
Yeah.
A client of mine from California came, and she had just moved here, and she was getting, I'm a colon hydrotherapist. She was getting colonics, and she said, now that I found you, I need to find someone that does thermography. And I said, I've never heard of such a thing. What is it? And I thought, it's too good to be true. This is amazing. This is what I've been looking for my whole life, is something safe to do, no radiation, no compression, and very, very accurate. So it was, I thought too good to be true. Mm-hmm. I started doing my research, and I researched for 7 years until I finally got in contact with, I was in the East Coast, and I had got an email from a doctor that was going down the East Coast teaching about thermography at all the colleges. Mm-hmm. And he said, I'll stop by your office to give you a little bit more education. Yeah. And so that's when the doors kind of opened up that I moved into that. And so got introduced, got my a lot of schooling, and then got my own camera.
Yes.
And that's where I've gone.
I love it. I love it. Oh, well, tell everyone exactly what it means and why is it so different. I know we don't have the radiation that we would get from a mammogram. So how does it work, Lenna?
Well, it's based on, the technology came out in the 50s, and the military developed it with the night goggles. Mm-hmm. Since then, we've gone all the way up to medical thermography, and it's much more advanced. But that was the first, when it first got developed. So we're looking at heat and cold, heat and cold, and vascular patterns. So you're going to, in your report, you're going to see the rainbow scales, what we call it, which is looking for cold and hot spots of the body. From the beginning of medical history, we've always used temperature to see, is a precursor to if your body is sick.
Yeah.
Or if you're sick, the first thing they do when you go to the doctors, take your temperature. What do we do when our kids are sick? We take their temperature. Back in the Egyptian times, they used to cover a person's body with mud, and whatever dried first was where their attention would go, because that was the hot spot. Oh. So they even were using it back then. Yeah. So temperature has always been, and it's accurate because it is your body. It's your temperature. Vascular patterns also are so important. In the grayscale, we're seeing all your blood vessels. Blood vessels in the breast should stay the same throughout a lifetime. If all of a sudden they start to turn, that's our big red flag.
That's so turn. What does that mean?
Feeding a tumor.
Oh,
so blood vessels
changes their makeup.
So how cancer is that it's just a few rebel cells, and we all have them, but they get activated somehow. Usually it's our immune system is weakened and a multitude of factors that have to go into causing that perfect storm. But it happens, and they attach to a blood vessel, and they send out little chemical messengers, feed me, feed me. And blood vessels don't know the difference between a rebel cell and a real cell. So they start to turn and go to feed that cell. And that's where cancer develops. But we're seeing it long before it even becomes a lump or a bump. Yeah. We're looking at vascular patterns and that heat signature that's going to tell us what's going on in the breast. And it's advanced much farther than just breast. It used to be mostly used for breast. It's been FDA cleared since 1982, and still as an adjunctive to mammograms. And so it's nice to have a little bit of both, because you're going to see things completely different and earlier with thermography. Yeah.
Well, I know myself just from people I've interviewed, and the research is I've never been comfortable with doing constant mammograms because, you know, I do believe that radiation is not good for you, and I don't want to worsen it or bring it on, but yet you do want to catch something. Yeah. So when I was told about this type of therapy a while back, I was really excited about it, and then being told about you and being able to experience it, I was absolutely thrilled. And you know, to have this done, and then you get a full report, and it really makes you feel good because you're taking control and you're seeing what's going on in your body, and then if there is anything you need to address or what you can contribute to your body to help it with that. It's exciting. We need to get this word out to women everywhere, you know, to see things and see our body and take care of it without harming our body in the process.
Right.
Correct?
Yes, no radiation, no compression. It's just harmless. Babies can have it done. Yeah. So, and we do a lot of autistic children who cannot communicate. So there's a lot of things, you know, it's picking up skin cancers. There's so many other things to get. A full body scan is, you can just ward off so many illnesses.
You can even pick up skin cancer.
Yeah. Oh, so it's really a great technology, and wish we were using it all these years. And you know, as well as other means. Ultrasounds are another safe technology that doesn't harm the human body, which between thermography and ultrasounds together is 98% accurate. Yeah. Why wouldn't we want to do safer things?
And I think most women are, like I was until I was first told about it 1 or 2 years ago, really not even aware that we had this option.
Yeah. I mean, FDA wants us to do it's an adjunctive. So I'm not saying don't do mammograms, but I do say you've got to be somewhat careful, and laws have changed and guidelines about mammograms have changed. You know, they used to want us to start at 40. Now they're saying, let's not start till 50. Let's not do it every single year. Let's, if you have a couple good mammos, let's wait 2 or 3 years between. And a lot can happen in 2 or 3 years. So I would add a little thermography in there. And just because of the dense breast tissue issue, which is dense breast tissue in a mammogram is white, and so are tumors.
Tell everyone how they could get a hold of you or find out more about this on your website.
My website is Attainable Health Solutions, and you can call me at 253-686-0565. And I think that's the easiest way.
Yeah. And on your website, there's a lot of information. Isn't there?
There's a lot of resources and helpful things for breast health. And I'm in the middle of writing a book about some healthy breast tips that each and every woman should be aware of. There's so many things we can do to avoid breast cancer.
And there's actually supplements. I had no idea. Until I met Lenna, there's supplements that you can take to help,
especially designed to detox the breast. So, and we're seeing the before and afters of when, you know, because you always wonder if your supplements are working. Well, we found several lines that have a nice protocol that they do work.
Yes.
And we're seeing huge improvements.
Yes. Yes. Have you seen a growth in this information? Has it come out more and more, would you say? Is it becoming a little more well-known, or is it kind of in the beginning steps?
Yeah, the documentary, The Truth About Cancer, they interviewed several doctors, Dr. Ben Johnson, and anyway, there were several doctors in there that were very pro thermography and were totally against mammograms. But Susan Summers has been talking about thermography for years. Dr. Christine Northrup has been very active in talking about thermography. Yeah. So there's lots and lots of doctors are starting to step up and say, let's look at the body differently. Yeah. So it is exciting times.
It really
Things
is.
are changing.
I just think it's so wonderful, and I just really would like to be a tool as much as I can to get that word out there and get this to women all over.
A local radiologist actually wants, when she's doing ultrasounds, she wants you to bring your thermography scan with you, and she's now correlating the information from that scan with what she's looking for. Yeah. So that's exciting to have an actual radiologist on board saying, yes, this is really good information.
Now, Lenna, with the fact that we can do like a full body scan, so do you have men coming as well? Yeah, so it's just not for girls, it's boys too. Yeah,
we're picking up hormone imbalances, lymphatic congestion, toxicity levels, all these precursors, dental hygiene, and what we can do to start cleaning that up. So we're seeing all kinds of things that are all precursors to not just cancers, but heart disease and so many other diseases that we can be proactively, way ahead of time before an X-ray could ever see it. Yeah, we're seeing all kinds of things. So,
and that's exciting. That's exciting to see things so far ahead of time, and then you can make an effort to, make some changes.
Yeah. And I try to say baby steps. Let's start small and work our way up. Let's address one little issue at a time and mark them off the list of, okay, we're working on this and this. And it's amazing. A scan can get so much better so quickly by just making a few adjustments.
Oh, I love it. I love it. This is just so exciting. And having experienced it myself and seeing the beautiful report that comes out, I'm really relieved.
Good. Yes.
Yeah.
You did good.
And it's just so great. And there's gonna be, in whatever we do, there's going to be different opinions. No, do this, no, do that. And I have always felt, listen, do research, and then make your own decisions. Okay, what makes sense for me? What feels right for me? And I really believe that this therapy is something that it feels right. Yeah. And the proof is there, the research, and it takes us away from all that radiation.
Yeah, I always tell women to trust their gut, and we just have a tendency not to. And we go with what society has said that we have, what we should do. But I had another actual doctor. She was getting ready to have a mammogram, and she didn't want to. She sat in that lobby just going, I don't want to, I don't want to. She looked down, and there was a brochure for thermography. Wow. Well, he knew that I was doing that, and she goes, they were running late, thank goodness, because she said, my gut just said, get out. She picked up that brochure and headed out, and she called me, and we've been working together ever since. But I said, see that gut, you've got to learn to trust that.
And I've just had a few in my lifetime, but I have felt the same way. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this.
Yeah. And, with thermography, there is no compression. And I know we talk a lot about the radiation, but compression can be just as dangerous. It only takes 22 pounds of pressure to rupture an encapsulated tumor.
I did not realize that.
They apply up to 44 pounds of pressure. So how many times have they actually caused cancer to spread?
Gosh.
Rupturing cells, and once a cell is damaged, it just opens the door for cancer.
Yeah.
So we have to just, there's more, educate yourself. This information is actually readily out there. It used to be somewhat more hidden, but it didn't take me that long to find all this information, and like, you have to make your own decisions and come up with your own gut. What's your gut saying? Yeah. Am I saying never do a mammogram? No, that's not what we should do. But it's also just be careful with them as far as too much radiation.
Where we can do with the thermography even more than we can do with a mammogram. Because isn't it a fact that a mammogram doesn't read under the armpit?
Right. There's a lot it can't see, and especially women with the smaller breasts, they're trying to put that teeny little bit of tissue in there, and they're not seeing all the way around. They all know, you have to remember, our breasts go all the way up to the collarbone, so they can't see that with the mammogram. And lately I've had 2 women with my sister. It was one of them that the cancer was up here, so the mammogram was missing it.
It would not even have seen it.
Plus, she didn't know about the breast being all the way up to the collarbone, so she wasn't doing her checks up there. And so I always tell women, just remember, if you're doing your daily or weekly self-exams, definitely feel up the sternum and up to the collarbone, because there's quite a bit of activity going on up there.
That's something I hadn't realized.
Yes. So that's another, just being aware of that, which most women, I had a lady the other day, same thing. She had a lot of activity, wasn't worried at all. And I go, oh yeah, no, you need to be aware of that, and she said, I had no idea. So there's so many misconceptions of our breasts and how to take care of them.
Yeah. And this is actually very empowering. I think very empowering, very exciting, because it's going to help us take care of ourselves. It's going to help us keep an eye on what's going on in our bodies, and it's not going to damage us in the process.
Well, we're a very visual people, so to have that vision right in front of you in that report, which is a very thorough report, and it helps us to see improvements. So if your scan comes back and we need to do a little work, then 6 months later, a year later, when we take them again and we see that improvement, that means all your efforts are going towards a good place.
Yeah. Oh, I think it's fantastic. You must have just fell in love with this. I would think getting into this and learning about this and how to help others with this, that would be so fulfilling.
I love nurturing people. I love guiding them through things that I've tried myself, different supplements, different, lymphatic drainage. There's just so many things that we can do to help with our breasts and get them healthy. And I love talking about it.
Yeah. And you do a lot of speaking engagements, don't you?
I do. I have one coming up in Lacey at the Nearing Total Health, September 21st. At 6 o'clock, and I'm speaking with a naturopathic doctor, which I will discuss all about thermography, and I have case studies. It's a PowerPoint presentation, and then she will follow up with some healthy breast tips and some things that she would recommend. And then October is going to be a busy month. I have 8 or 9 speaking engagements right now.
I love it.
I will be busy. It's October, and it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And at least gets women, which they all start thinking, I should get my mammogram. But they go, but I want to learn about thermography because that sounds better to me. And so it's helpful for them. Yes.
That's exciting.
Because I like to see, I want to put the whole picture out there. What mammograms can see, what it can't see, what ultrasounds can see and what they can't see, what thermography can see and what it can't see. And just to have a real honest approach to all of our screening modalities.
Oh, I just think that's so fantastic. And can listeners and viewers contact you if they have any questions?
Yes. And my phone number again is 253-686-0565. And my website is Attainable Health Solutions.
Yes. Yes. And this is, this is basically taking pictures, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. And with I'm excited about it, and I think it's pretty cool. But the temperature thing, is it the heat shows up because our body is fighting what's out of alignment or out of balance?
Heat represents inflammation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're seeing a lot of inflammation, low-grade infection.
Okay.
So when we're looking at like a mouth, and we're seeing it low-grade infection before an X-ray can even pick it up, draining down both sides of the neck, and we can see your lymphatic system is just swirling and not really pulling that infection out. So that way we can tell that your lymphatic system needs to be jump-started.
Yeah.
Which stress is the number one thing that shuts our lymphatic system down. And so to figure out some nice stress, releasers, and find our triggers, what's causing that stress, try to alleviate that. Jumpstart your lymphatic system, which is a treatment that I also do, is lymphatic enhancement therapy. It's done with a lymph star that actually is a frequency that our lymph system is proteins and white blood cells.
Okay.
And it gets, with the stress, it'll shut it down. It gets all sticky, is what they call it. What these frequencies do is splits it all apart and gets it flowing again. So it's really a nice therapy, very relaxing. Most of the time you sleep right through the whole thing.
Wow.
And most everyone, they walk away saying their brain fog had lifted. When your lymphatic system starts to shut down, it's subtle. You don't realize the headaches, the puffy, if you're having a hard time getting your rings on, all the puffiness, that's all lymphatic. And a breast reduction in puffiness. And a lot of women notice, my bra is a lot looser than it used to be because we've got you draining.
And that's a lymphatic system.
Lymphatic is all congested. We're wearing our tight bras, which is completely restricting that natural flow that we should have.
Yeah.
So I always recommend women to get your bras off as soon as you can, get a little essential oil and do a nice massage to start opening up that lymph system. And its job is to pull toxins out. If we're cutting that all off with a bra that's on for sometimes 8-10 more hours a day, we need to jumpstart it, get it going.
Yeah.
And
so would you say a loose fitting bra is a little better on our breasts than a tight fitting, or a wire bra?
Yeah, we probably want to lose those wire bras.
That's me. I was just going to say I'm anti-wire bras myself.
And try to get a very loose fitted or properly fitted bra. Just try not to have it on that much. As soon as you can get home and get it off, the better. Yeah. The sooner the better.
And so as far as essential oils to rub on our breasts, any recommendations?
Well, any of the citrus are great, but there's a blend. I use Elizabeth's Essentials. She sells hers at Marlene's, but she's got a really nice blend. I always add castor oil. Castor oil is an amazing oil. We've used it for centuries. Of course, they used to take it by the tablespoon, but I say don't eat it, just apply it to the breast. And just really get in areas that aren't usually, and stimulate it. Get that lymph system going.
Yes.
And I just say do it every night for 30 days. Let's detox the breast.
Okay. So after the 30 days, you've done it every night with the castor oil. So then do you never do the castor oil again, or do you wait a while?
I would say do it every 3 months.
Every 3 months.
Yeah, and do it for a month or skip a month. It's best to get into a nice habit.
Yeah.
Habits, we have bad habits. Now it's time to get into some really good habits.
Yeah.
And one of the castor oil is amazing. I've just seen some amazing results with it. And simple oil. We have it.
I was just going to say, isn't there just some amazing things out there that are just simple things that we have available to us,
and not very expensive.
We don't need the drugs. We don't need. We have so many simple things just on this earth to use, help us to be healthy. Yeah, and that's really exciting. With just a couple more minutes, what last message you want to give everyone out there today?
Oh man, there's so much. yeah, come to one of my presentations and let's work together and learn how to have all those healthy breast tips, and let's all keep our girls. Keep them safe.
I just have to say a big heartfelt thank you to you for all that you're doing for so many people.
It's very enjoyable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank
I'm
you.
so honored.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. I hope everyone out there has loved this as much as I have, and I'm so happy to share Lenna and this great information. So until next week, everyone, big hugs. Have a great day. Bye.
Bye.